Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, February 16th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I take time to honor and value the vibration of love. Oh my goodness, the astro today, we have so much to dig into. I hope that I can remember all of the downloads that came through. First thing, we have a full moon in Leo. We have been talking about this for the last few days. Now, this full moon is so interesting because it happens right on the edge of 27 and 28 degrees. In fact, it actually moves through these degrees. So I'm actually going to start with the Sabian symbol. You can find my book, for this full moon in Leo. So the Sabian symbol, which if you're wanting to know what Sabian symbols are, this is the original book. Mimi hair, hanging. Basically, this person brought a psychic out, and for every degree, had to give a vision, but it was done in a way that she did not know what degree it was, so there was no concept. And so basically, these are the visions, and if you've studied them, it's amazing how they fit. It's just amazing. So for 27 degrees, which is where the full moon begins, we have the luminescence of dawn in the eastern sky, the keynote being the exalting challenge of new opportunities at the threshold of a new cycle. This absolutely feels like a new cycle. In fact, the next Sabian symbol I actually remember for Leo 28 degrees, many little birds on the limb of a big tree. Anytime I see the Sabian symbol for that, I think about Three Little Birds, the song. Don't worry about a thing. So we have a new dawn, the exaltation of new dawn energy, a new beginning. And then Spirit's and three little birds upon my doorstep, singing sweet songs, the melody pure and true, saying, "This is my message for you." Don't worry about a thing. I think these are the messages that we need right now, right? That being said, this astro has challenge. I've been speaking about it all week, so chances are you're fairly aware of it. But let's dig into this challenge. So this moon is in conjunct, which is how do we work together? Just realized I have soot on my fingers from lighting the candle. In conjunct Pluto energy, in conjunct. You don't know how to work together. Pluto is working to help us find our power in this energy, in Capricorn, the responsibility to our power, a responsibility to our authority, Pluto in Capricorn. And what comes in direct conflict with that? A lot of times our ego. Our ego, our inner child that has been taught since it was little to give that authority away, to give that power away. So this is where we have a little rub. This is where we have some challenge. We also have squares, the energy being squared with the node. So the north node in Taurus is can you lean into your value? And I think this is a really great opportunity to see where in the scale of things do you place love as a value? And when it comes to love, what do you think of? Because so many times when we think of love, we think of romantic love. We think of the love we have for our children, or our pets, or our parents, or our siblings, or our friends, or we love our job, or we love pizza. What is love in a wider, broader concept to you? And where do you place your value on that? And where does that tune in to self-love? So we have that with this North Node Taurus energy that we're being asked to, again, place this in our values. Because how many of us, when it comes to, choosing things, how many of us align our actions with that? So we're looking at that. And meanwhile, that Pluto piece can bring in the fear, and the square to the South Node in Scorpio can also bring up survival stuff, can also bring up fear in regards to this. So while this full moon is encouraging us into love and being new horizons, three little birds, it's okay. there's some conflict in it. I'm imagining in my head, you know, you play like the Cats in the Cradle with the string, and it's like all these lines, like that's kind of the conflict of how we're being pushed and pulled in and through this energy. But there's balance for us. There's balance in a full moon. There's balance between, even if it doesn't feel so balanced, right? There's balance between the sun and the moon, asking us again, can we find our heart and mind coherence somewhere in the middle of all of this conflict? Can we get our mind on board with the idea, with the concept of love, with valuing love, with aligning with love? I really truly believe that love, and I don't mean romantic love when I say this, but love and joy is one of the highest vibrations that we can exercise. I actually used my joy oil right before this just to support those energies just a little bit more, because I do think these oils carry a lot of frequency, and aligning in frequency is one way we can do this. Now, at the same time, which is so interesting, we have Venus and Mars conjunct. Now, Venus and Mars are going to be conjunct again. This is not it. And they're going to be kind of cat and mousing, very close in quarters over the next little bit. When I was thinking about Venus and Mars conjunct, Mars, you know, passion, frustration, war energy. And then we have Venus, love, beauty, attraction. And what popped into my mind with this is like the story of the Trojan horse. I forget their names. Helen of Troy, yeah. Helen of Troy, the Trojan horse, that popped into my head. And so, just because it did, be aware of those Trojan horses out there masquerading as love. We've got to get real with this concept, with Venus and Mars conjunct. Capricorn energy is about that responsibility to the soul. Mars can be impulsive. Mars can get super, super carried away. And it's interesting because this degree that they're at is 16 degrees, that's 7. And so there can be illusion. 7 is Neptune energy. There can be illusion in this that we need to be aware of. There also can be spiritually ordained energy that we need to be aware of. This is why we need Venus. We don't need Venus to be like, oh, look at me, la da da. Like, it's not so much about that. What we need from Venus in this energy is the responsibility to our intuition, to that yin energy, so that we get the download, we get the intuition, and we take that aligned action. And so keep that in mind. It's so interesting. And again, there's some balancing of opposites when we have the yin and the yang, the Venus and Mars conjunct with this. So there's all these calls. Now, a lot of people excuse me, are making this about romance, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I do have some cards. I've got some very interesting romantic cards. I have the projections card, which is interesting, and I have the lovers card in reverse, which is interesting. We'll dig into those in a minute. What I'm feeling with this, and I got reprimanded by somebody and told that I'm not an astrologer because of this, but I'm just always telling you what comes through me, what comes for me, and the patterns that I've studied that feel aligned. I do feel like for each of us there is a call to your own balance in and through this. And every full moon reminds us of this balance. And Venus and Mars together remind us of this call to balance. When you hear somebody saying, this is the only way, there is a lack of balance there. And I say that from a place of having followed people many times who've said, this is the only way. Because it's never the only way. What's coming to mind is I have dealt with Lyme's disease for a large part of my life, apparently, but just finally found out the last 2 years or so. Before that, it's been a struggle for me, And don't worry, I'm getting to a point. I followed a lot of different healers and health and detox people over my time because truly I have found that food as medicine has been my highest and best path through this. Nothing else has worked for me quite as much as that. And bring this up because one of the people that I have respected and followed just recently, yesterday, passed away. And they were one of the, this is the only way. And while this person had amazing techniques, amazing success, I don't know that it was incredibly balanced. And there's so many other options or examples that I can give to you of this. But this feels like this call to responsibility. Are you listening to your heart? That full moon in Leo, are you listening to that energy? That energy is important. Are you honoring, got this in the cards, are you honoring your vision and your vibration? There's that Aquarius energy in this connection. Are you taking the time for that? That is so important. The personal responsibility, the self-love, Venus and Mars conjunct in this, the ability to face those fears, the South Node in Scorpio, aligning with your values. What are your values? These are all pieces in this unfolding puzzle, in this full moon, in this new horizon that we're stepping into with this full moon that need to be considered. And your path is not necessarily my path, and that is okay. What is your path? That is the awareness that needs to be cultivated. And again, are you considering your heart? This full moon is reminding us, heart is important in this. Love, what you love, how you love is important in and through this energy. So, it is a lot. It is very intense. That South Node in Scorpio is watch out for where, out of survival mode, you follow old patterns. Can you choose the path of heart? Can you choose the path of love rather than getting sucked into the fear and sucked into survival? This will mean something for every different person, and that's okay. What is your highest calling, and how do you align in that? How do you step into your power? Here's the Pluto piece, and say, I accept this mission. I accept this soul mission. I stand in my authority to know this is my balance. This is how I move through and show up in and through that. So, the projections card is so interesting. We have mirrors everywhere. These mirrors are always teaching us. Sometimes they are funhouse mirrors. Excuse me. Sometimes they are funhouse mirrors. Sometimes they are legitimate mirrors. Be aware of these projections. If you are projecting or being projected upon, recognize there's mirroring at play. The Lover's card in reverse, excuse me, inhaling incense. The Lover's card in reverse, it doesn't mean love is not here, but it feels like we all have some distance to move through, to fully step into our individual energy of love. Keep that in mind, even as you hold space for the vibration of love. Excuse me, for the truth of love in and through this energy. The vision and the existence, the Magician card. Don't forget your mind. Don't forget your vision. What does love feel like? Spend time projecting that into your vision. And again, this isn't about romantic love. We make it about romance so often, and that's fun and awesome and like, hey, let's do it. But don't just give your all to that, because that's like painting a rainbow with only the color red, and you miss all of the rest of the spectrum in that. So keep that in mind. The final card that I have is the receptivity card. Be receptive. There are downloads aplenty coming in and through this. We actually have Jupiter and Uranus building into a connection at 11 degrees, master level degree. Downloads, insights, ahas aplenty, especially when we can stay in that love space. Final card for you, we got a little watermelon tourmaline. I pulled this actually earlier for me, and I was like, oh, this is so good for everybody. So I'm going to read it. Watermelon tourmaline. Love, balance, and clarity. Relationships are the currency of life, and watermelon tourmaline raises awareness of our soul agreements and your impact on other people's lives. This crystal is supercharged to activate the heart chakra, creating a divine connection between you and your higher self. Like the watermelon, it teaches you to enjoy the sweetness of life. Remembering good things often take time to ripen. There's that Lover's card in reverse. All right, watermelon tourmaline balances the masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, connecting your heart chakra to both the physical and spiritual aspects of yourself. So how perfect is that to finish up this energy? So that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.